In this video we're going to find the equation of a line with m equals 3/4 and containing the point 2, 8. Now there's actually three different ways to do this problem. I'm going to show you all three. Alright? First method we're going to call the slope-intercept method because we're going to use the equation y equals mx plus b. Let's call this the slope-intercept method, using the equation y equals mx plus b. So what we're going to do here is we know that the slope is 3/4. M equals 3/4, that's your slope. What we don't know is the y-intercept. If we knew the slope and the y-intercept, we could just plug those in and we'd be done. So basically we need to find b. It's going to be your first step in the slope-intercept method. You got to find b because you don't know what b is. So to do that, we are going to use y equals mx plus b, and we're going to plug in m, we're going to plug in 3/4, and then x is 2, and y is 8. We're going to use this point 2, 8 as your x and your y. So instead of y, I'm going to write 8 equals m, which is 3/4, times x, which is 2, plus b, which I don't know. Okay? So now we're going to solve for b. So we have 8 equals 3/4 times 2 over 1. That would be 6/4 plus b. Let's see, let's reduce that 6/4. So that would give us 3/2 plus b, which is the same as 1/2. So let's just write that as 1.5. You could write 1/2 if you want. And then we're going to minus 1.5 from both sides. And that gives us, let's see, 8 minus 1/2 would be 6.5 equals b. So now all you need to do is plug in your slope and your y-intercept. So we'll go back to our equation y equals mx plus b. And we're going to plug in our slope and we're going to plug in our y-intercept. So we know our slope is 3/4 and we know our y-intercept is 6.5. Well, I'll just write 6.5 since I'm using fractions for my slope. There you go. That's it. So that's the first method. Alright, our next method is called the point-slope method. So the point-slope method uses the point-slope equation, or the point-slope formula, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Alright, so let's talk about what this means. In this equation, you do have 5 variables, 5 different letters. This y1 is different than y. This x1, y1 is specifying your point. Okay, this is called the point-slope form because you need to know a point, which is your x1, y1, and your slope, which is your m. So these 3 variables, m, x1, and y1, we need to know the values for. We need to plug those in. So in this case, m is 3/4, and then our x1 is 2, and our y1 is 8. The x and the y, the plain old x and y, we're just going to leave those blank. Those are going to be the x and y in your equation. Alright, so let's start. Here we go. We bring down the y, bring down the minus. The y1 value, that's 8, equals m, that's 3/4. We're just plugging these in. Bring down the parenthesis, bring down the x, bring down the minus. x1 is 2. So we plug all those in. Now what we want to do is simplify it and get y by itself. So the first thing we're going to do is distribute the 3/4 into the parentheses. And then we'll add that 8 over and we'll be done. Okay, so bring down the y minus 8 equals 3/4 times x is just 3/4 x. Minus 3/4 times 2. Remember that's the same as 2 over 1. So you've got 6 over 4. I'll just write that down. I was going to reduce it on the fly, but let's just take our time here. So we have y minus 8 equals 3/4 x minus, and then 6/4 reduces to 3 over 2, which is 1.5. That should look familiar from the last one we did. And then we need to get y by itself, so we're going to add 8 to both sides. And we end up with y equals 3/4 x. 8 take away 1.5 would be a positive 6.5. Same answer we got last time, right? Okay, so the benefit of using this is you plug your variables in and you work it out and you're done. The drawback is you have to memorize another formula. Whereas before, when we were doing the slope-intercept method, we were using y equals mx plus b, which is a formula that you already knew. The drawback to using the slope-intercept method is you got to plug these in, find b, and then go back and plug it in again. You just got to remember those steps. But the best way is the way that works for you. The best way is the way that you're going to remember. Either way will get you to the correct equation. Alright, let's look at the last method, which is really not the most convenient method, but it's a great way to see what's going on. And if you have time on a test, you could always use this method to check and see if your answer makes sense, which is to graph it. So we're supposed to find the equation of the line with a slope of 3/4 and containing the point 2,8. So the first thing you would want to do is graph the point 2,8. You know that's on your line, so we'll go over 2, up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right there. Oops, I got to get the right tool. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. There's the point 2,8. And now we know our line goes through this point, and we know the slope is 3/4. So we want to do a 3/4 slope from here. So that would mean going up 3/4, which is off my graph. So I could also go, let me write this out. 3/4 is the same as -3/-4. Because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So going up 3 and right 4 is the same as going down 3 and left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It gives me the same slope as if I would have gone up 3/4. It'd be the same. We could do that again, down 3/4. Okay, and then let's draw that line and connect those and see what we've got. Make it as straight as I can, or as accurate as I can, because we're going to use it to figure out what our equation is. So we can figure out what our equation is because we know we're going to use y equals mx plus b, and we know that the slope is 3/4. All we'd have to do is figure out the y-intercept, and we'd have our equation. So we know y equals 3/4 x plus, what's the y-intercept? Well, let's look at the graph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like it's crossing right between 6 and 7. We know it's 6.5 because we figured it out over here. So you can see this method is not the best method because, you know, if it's between numbers, you might not be real confident that it's exactly 6.5. I mean, what if it's 6 and, 5/8 or something like that. But anyway, this graph gives you a great picture of what's happening, and you are kind of convinced that your answer is correct, 6.5. So there's 3 different ways to find the equation of a line with a point and a slope, and again, it's kind of good to know all 3, but you want to basically pick between the point slope and the slope-intercept method. Those are the 2 most common ways to do the problem.